what's your take on the way that the coaches work? I've been playing for a while, so what's just like going through that process?
It sucks. I've been cut twice in this league, so I know the feeling. It's just hard because you come into this situation hoping that you do enough to make a roster, and when it's just not your time, it's hard. There's a lot of emotions, especially if you're coming straight from college. You're coming from being at the highs, like you're the best probably on your team, feeling really confident, and it's just like a blow. But understanding that just because you're cut once, that doesn't mean that's the end of your journey in the league. And I'm living through for that, but it's just trying to make sure that they feel comforted and encouraged as they get ready to go on to the next steps of this journey. Just reminding them it's a long season, anything can happen. You can be picked back up, you can be picked back off the waivers. So just to keep that confidence, and if this is the league that you want to play in, just continue to take the feedback that they gave you and keep working.
How are Jose's practices different from what you've been doing?
They're actually similar to what I've experienced before. A lot of attention to detail, a lot of just playing to get in shape. It's not really like getting on the line run, it's getting in shape as you're playing and thinking. So that's helpful that I'm used to that. But it's been good though. He's really communicative. He tells you what he wants, and he tells you where he wants you to be, how he wants you to, what your role is for this team. And so it just makes everything so smooth.
A lot of people have talked about Paige's leadership in camp. Just what stands out to you about her leadership?
Yeah, this is the first time I've been around her. She leads by example, which is something I always appreciate from a leadership standpoint. But two, I think you can see maybe she's working on being more of a vocal leader this year. She's talking more in huddles. She's saying things on the fly when we're out there on the court. And that's what you want, especially from your point guard and from the star player. You want to be able to have that line of communication. So she does a great job. She's pulling the best out of everyone. Which is also a great, character to have as a leader. So yeah, it's been fun being around her, watching her lead this team.
How was the chemistry with you and Lee?
Say that one more time.
Chemistry with you and Lee from last year.
No, Lee's my girl. It's been good just because, anytime you can have some familiarity with someone, it just helps expedite that chemistry. I'm familiar with her game. She's familiar with mine. So as we're out here on the court together, we're like, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Look for this. And it just makes it a lot quicker. So it's nice to have a familiar face in here.
What are some ways you've seen her continue to grow since your time with teammates in Seattle?
Yeah, I think just her communication is a big one. The way that she's able to come out here and she's saying the things that she wants. If she sees a read, she's not afraid to come tell you like, hey, I saw this, do this. And then just the way that she continues to be aggressive inside. She's obviously she's a stretch five. She can shoot that thing, but you can tell that she's had an emphasis on making sure she's being a power force inside as well. And so that's something that's great. It's, nobody around her is her size. So for her to be a monster inside is going to be great for us.
Being the vets on the team, what are some of the things you got to have tried to the younger players?
I think just the consistency piece and what's expected every day, especially coming into training camp. Everyone's energy and nerves are high, and just kind of, hey, like today, this is what they're looking for. After an off day, this is what coaches typically look for. Making sure there's no drop-offs that there are, bringing us together, making sure like, hey, we need to raise our level, we need to have more intensity here. And just, whatever little tidbits we can see, whether it's a little tip and trick, from a sideline in around something, but just, everything that we've learned along the way, just finding moments to be able to insert those.
Speaking of being a vet, with the increased coverage of the WNBA, is there anything that you have to do culturally to keep the main thing main?
I'm not as familiar with this group, but I would say no. Usually, typically it's just you always focus on what's in-house because whether it's more coverage or what other teams are doing, the second you start worrying about what other people are doing is when you focus on what's going on in-house. And so for us, that's always been the focus since day one. And it's great being here. There's an event happening, here at UTA. There's people in on the sideline. So it forces you to have to lock in on the court and what you're doing, which helps you. Because when you travel, you go to away arenas, something may not go the right way you want it to. Routine changes. And it's all about how you can adapt to that. And we're having that, those moments here now. I'm having to adapt on the fly. And so I think that helped kind of just everybody hone in on what's important.
It's still just the first week, but what are some things you're learning about AZ on and off the court, and just where can we maybe getting more comfortable at a professional level?
Yeah, on the court is just watching her IQ. Like, yes, everyone knows she's an amazing shooter, but I think something that's underrated is her off-ball movement. You know, she's a fantastic cutter. She knows how to read the game. And so just watching her get comfortable in that space too. And then off the court, learning that she's a foodie, you know? So we started kind of already making plans like, okay, when you're doing this, I want to come. Let's go find these types of restaurants. And I told her when we travel on the road, I have like a list of restaurants in every city that I like to go to. And so she was like, okay, bring me along. So having a fellow foodie on the team is definitely exciting.
Speaking of that, how much cooking are you going to be doing for the team once you get comfortable?
Probably a lot. They're already on my head about it because I've been cooking and I'm like, dang, I gotta eat. But I just told them, like I do every year, I'm like, listen, if you guys want to eat dinner, let me know ahead of time so that way I can make sure I have enough. Because I make enough for 2 for dinner that night and left over the other day. So, but yeah, they're already on my head about it. So I'm sure y'all will see a lot of meals.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.